can jump the oxer to the plank. There's not many footprints on the right-hand side for a good reason. The plank on the right-hand side is exactly the same color as the Jumbotron and the blue color below the Jumbotron. So the horses can't see it. They can't see the plank. So I think most of the riders will be on the left-hand side jumping the plank, the vertical plank to the oxer. They wrap right around to the triple combination. We see two jumps that are verticals with the red fox on the A and B element. It's one stride in between the two, 24 feet, it's spot on. Between B and C though, he's shortened up the distance, so the horses have to work against the front rail. The front rail is very vertical. If the riders and horses are too aggressive coming in, they're gonna run out of room and they'll have a hard time getting the front leg out of the way for that front face. Bending line right around to the number 9, it walks in a 10, might ride in a 9, but more importantly, the number is significantly high enough that the riders are going to try to use a turn to create some engagement and keep the horse on their feet. It's a reverse Liverpool, which means that the the Liverpool is the tray of water underneath. The front face of it is right up against the vertical, and all of the Liverpool is behind it. Don't breathe over that. Carry on another 6 strides to the Adequan oxer. Of course, we all know that this competition is presented by Adequan. Wrapping around, this is what we call a triple bar combination, the red and blue, with the 3 sets of standards. They need to get right up to the base of that so the horse can have a very nice shape over that jump, land steep, and having control. 4 strides to a super upright oxer, meaning it's very vertical in the front face. It's square from the front to the back, and then 2 strides and over their last fence, which is the vertical. Try not to ever ride the last fence like it's last fence. You always want to have the horse jump the last fence quietly and not get too excited. Don't let the riders get excited because you don't want to have that last fence down. So we have such a beautiful course tonight. The horses will be warming up over in this arena. If anybody wants to go a little closer and watch that, stay behind the rope so you can watch the horses warm up a bit. But certainly you're going to see a great night of sport tonight. Remember, this is such a wonderful competition. We want to thank everybody that's made this happen, all the volunteers, sponsors, and the organizing committee. We have, again, this is the Great Meadows International, Brookledge International, and it's presented by Adequan. So everybody have a great time tonight. Put your hands together and show us a big welcome for these riders and wish them all the best tonight. You're going to see some amazing horse flesh. So let's have a good night of sport and let the games begin.
Well, thank you very much, Karen. What a great presentation there to show you a little bit about what we're going to see tonight. We've got our horses and riders assembled, and they are in the back warm-up getting prepared. We're just about ready to start, and we'll get underway with the opening ceremony. Once again, we'd like to welcome everyone to our Saturday evening, being brought to you by Brookledge. They, of course, are the presenting sponsor for 2018 here at the Brookledge Great Meadow International. Not only will you see the riders who are competing in the Nations Cup and the individual competition, we will also be able to see the 7 horse and rider combinations that have been selected to go to the final trials, and the final group will be determined from that group of 7 that will go on to represent the United States at the World Equestrian Games in Tryon, North Carolina, coming up this September, where the world comes to the United States for the World Games for Tryon 2018. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to direct your attention to the in-gate area and also to the Brookledge display tractor trailer, as we will now introduce you to the members of the St. Andrews Society of Washington, D.C., who will now present our colors. And gentlemen, if you will come forward now, please. We would like to have you enter the arena, and we would like to ask everyone to please be prepared as we will open this evening's festivities, as we do with international sporting events in the United States, celebrating, of course, our nation's birthday this July 4th weekend and week and international competition. At this time, the St. Andrews Society of Washington, D.C. members will come in to present the colors of the nations and our national flag. And gentlemen, if you will proceed on in. And ladies and gentlemen, we would ask that you please rise as we will now honor the nations competing here this weekend for the Nations Cup, United States, Great Britain, Canada. We also present the state flag of Virginia. And we will have our national anthem next. We're very proud to welcome the St. Andrew Society of Washington, D.C. to present the colors for the Brookledge Great Meadow International. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're very pleased to welcome and introduce Tutti Pericone, who will sing the national anthem for our opening of the evening.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So again, thanks to members of the St. Andrew Society of Washington, and thanks to Tutti, a wonderful rendition of our national anthem to start off the festivities. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for Tutti and also for the St. Andrew Society of Washington, D.C., adding beautiful pageantry and glamour to the evening. Very festive for our 4th of July week here at Great Meadow. So we're just about ready to go. We've got the judges and officials down at the very far end of the Meadow House end of the arena, and that's where the judges will be seated. Your score time clock is there displayed as well. The optimum time for this evening's course is set at 76 seconds. Riders are penalized 4 penalties for a dropped rail. They are also penalized 1 point for every second over that 76. Now those points are then added to the dressage mark. Remember, the lower the score, the least amount of penalties, the better they stand in the division. It's a very close knit group of competitors, especially as we get down to the top 6 or 7. This is the second of the 3 phases. Remember, we'll finish tomorrow with the exciting cross country tomorrow morning at 9:30 on the beautiful Mike Etherington Smith design course. Hope you've had a chance to go out and see the beautiful fences that the crew's been working on all week. But tonight we get right to it. The show jumping is very exciting, and your appreciation and your applause is well appreciated. And also for the riders, we'd like to remind the riders, if you go double clear and fist pump, you will be in the running for a possible $500 prize for the best fist pump for a double clear. So you're going to need to be part of the action, and all of our spectators, you're going to need to help that as well. Lots of cheering, especially for those who go double clear. So Christian Landholt and Joe Young, members of the ground jury, will be assisted by our chief scorer and the scoring team at the far end as we keep time and scores throughout the evening. And I think we're all set to go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together right on time at 4:55. Here, let's welcome the first of our riders for Team Canada. Here is
welcome to the show jumping phase here
and Kelson
at
Cognac.
the Brook Ledge Great Meadows International FEI Nations Cup 2018, presented by Adequate. We had a fascinating morning of dressage. It was an early start this morning, but I can tell you the position. Great Britain are in pole position, 97.7. They lead the defending champions from last year, the USA. They are second on 103, and Canada 108.9 in third position. But we welcome you to this late afternoon show jumping phase. Delighted to have alongside me again 5-time Olympian Karen O'Connor. 470 metres the length of the course. Karen, 76 seconds. What's your overall impression?
Yeah, I really like the course. I've just walked it. I think Waylon is a great first rider for this course. Here we have coming over fence 5, and now turning back to 6, they have an option. They can jump the left-hand side, which is a vertical plank, to an oxer, or the right-hand side is an oxer to a vertical plank. Everybody's walking the left-hand side because the plank at the top of number 7 on the right-hand side, you can't see the plank because it's the same color as the Jumbotron. And it's right on the line to the Jumbotron and the banner below it. Very good through the triple combination, 1 stride vertical, vertical, then 2 strides to the oxer.
And Waylon starting on a dressage, 36.5 with his Kevin McNabb produced bay. He circles round to this triple bar into the final combination. The finish line is in his sights.
And sadly, he's had the last fence down. Just opened up a little bit on the horse. I thought the horse stopped using his neck a little bit over the triple bar and then really never got the shape back, which is unfortunate because otherwise he had a really super beautiful ride, great rhythm. But that will add 4 jump penalties to the team score at this point, early on.
Yes, we just await for the confirmation of the time, but for jumping to the best of our knowledge, it's 40.5, the completion score for Canada's first out, Waylon Roberts. And also, yes, 1 second over, Karen, 77 seconds, so we know the time has got to be respected. It's 5 in the show jumping. Final score for Waylon Roberts, our kickoff man, is 41.5.
35.2, currently a member of the leading British team from Great Britain, working at Balltown Harley. This is number 2.
Next to come, Georgie Spence. Balltown Harley sets off.
Felton and Verga. They were 14th last year.
Makes a very good economical turn back around to number 4. And now up and over 5. Great shape over that. Turns back to 6. Sure, she will take the left side. That's exactly right. So you can see, as you're looking at the right-hand side of the back of it, you can see that very dark plank, and the riders don't want to have anything to do with it. Coming to the triple combination. This horse is a lovely jumper. He's got a good shape. I thought that was going to ride a little bit shorter than it seems to. The first 2 horses did it okay. Georgie's horse got a little bit tight to the third element. She's got a great jump. Now she's got to get very deep but powerful to the triple bar. so that she has the balance for the forced drive for this upright oxer and over the last. So a very good round there.
And there's a fist pump to start it off.
And so they are judging the fist pump of the riders that jump clear. And with that fist pump, there is a bit of a prize, isn't there?
We heard something about a fist pump, if you can remember that in your moments of pleasure. We'll confirm that for you a little bit later, but in any case, Georgie Spence jumps are open and clear of the early afternoon. Show jumping, long way to go, but it's a super round for Halltown Harley. She will stay on her score into cross-country tomorrow. Perfect start for Philip Searle's quartet from Great Britain. But now we welcome Philip Dutton, a former world number one, six-time Olympian. Simply incredible horseman, and Mighty Nice won that individual bronze in Rio 2016. Sportsfield Candy is up and running. Very traditional, old-fashioned fan fence that is at 3.
It's very retro, isn't it? So he's coming now around to the 6th fence. I spoke to Eric DeVander. He liked the left side for his riders. Catching that nice even distance. Now a little bit pace getting across the arena, setting up for this. It's upright vertical, one stride, upright vertical. Now 2 short strides to the oxer. No problem for Philip and Candy.
And interesting information just arriving on our screens that Georgie spent 72 seconds, so comfortably inside 76. So the time proved very attainable for Britain's number 1.
But it is going to have the ground jury not necessarily change the time after the 3rd horse, which is within their power if they want to. So it looks like Wayland's 1 time fault is going to stick. And here we got a finish for Philip.
Yeah, super round for Philip Dutton. 36 was his dressage score. With Kevin Keane, Sportsfield Candy. Kevin, the wonderful vet and great friend of Philip Dutton from Pennsylvania. Those beautiful rolling hills of True Prospect Farm. And Kevin himself, a super eventer. Fernhill Flutter was the horse that he took to advanced level.
Here's Alexander Knowles next to go, the first of her 3. Alexander with business class. This is number 4. Catherine O'Brien of Lexington, Kentucky. Allie's in 38th place on 38.4. 8th, the Rocking Horse. Finisher at Bromont and Ocala in CICs over the last season.
On course now.
Alexander Knowles in business class.
This lovely horse we really admired in the jumping. The dressage earlier. It was so enjoyable, I got it confused for the jumping.
Good start. Catches the 4th fence on a lovely rhythm. Swings a little bit wide to that. Riders are going to have to really pay attention to the time and not dally in the turns. There she's getting across the arena pretty quickly to the triple.
This is a horse we loved earlier. He's only 8, one of the youngest horses in the field. Side by Harlequin du Carrel, and the damn side here is Quick Start of serious show jumping notes. That explains the getaway.
Exactly, so fast off the floor there when she missed going to the vertical, and the horse just like
patted the ground.
Double beated the rhythm to catch some power.
Alex Knowles travels with business class down to the Great Meadow International double. She crosses the line on her 8-year-old.
With the finish there for Ali in business class, number 4.
She's clear across the jumps, wait for the time.
And
So
Karen,
finishing,
what
no jumping, a time of
was your
74
overall
seconds.
impression of the course?
I think the course has a lot of flow. I'd have to say that for me it's a bit soft this year compared to the last 2 years. And it's actually interesting because the first 4 horses have had little to no trouble. A little bit of time on the first horse and the rail, but other than that, everybody's taking it pretty well in stride.
This pair 7th at Bromont, 5th at Jersey Fresh.
The next to come, we welcome 3 rides for him this afternoon. Will Coleman comes forward. He is aboard the Con Syndicate Supercon de Brunei. 33.4 was his start score. He starts in 11th position into this second phase of the 3. Cross country, unusually, is tomorrow morning. But Will Coleman, that first very sharp roll back into the fan at 4. It's a very positive start.
He's having a lovely rhythmical round between 1 and 2. He got a nice 7 strides. A couple of horses had gone in 8. And it is right in between the 2, so it's on a bending line, so they can come a bit direct or a bit more on the outside line. Beautiful through the triple. Very smooth ride for Will. Coming into the last line, triple combination, he caught that just right. Horse being very careful tonight, and a beautiful, beautiful round. Another beautiful round.
Yes, Will Coleman is very smooth through the show jumps. And Supercon de Brunei completing Mark Donovan's course. Mark from Carolina, our course designer here. He's been designing for about 10 years
1 second under, coming in at 75
here in the USA. And Will Coleman is also inside the time, so does his fist pump, waits for the time. And it's a real follow through from Will Coleman.
Good fist bump.
And it's a very good final score because Supercon de Brunei 33.4. He was in 11th place after the dressage. He stays on 33.4. I can just give you one amendment to the score we gave you for Waylon Roberts and Callison Cognac, the very first out. He did have one other fence down.
Oh dear.
We didn't see that out on the course, but it is 8 jumping and that one time for 45.5, the amended score for Waylon Roberts for Canada. Chris Talley's now on course, but the 24-year-old off to a rather jerky start, Karen.
He just totally lost his posture of his position. You have to get the horses to the jumps from your hips down, not from your hips up. And this horse is now stuttering off the ground. He has the second fence down. He wraps around and does the third fence, very stuttering off the ground. Is to get his lower leg underneath him and stabilize it, and not use his thumb and the bridge of his thumb to his first finger for his balance on the landing of the jump. You have to stay very tall and not ever be a distraction or an interference to the horse's ability to jump correctly. That's the third fence down.
But on the upside here, his second horse was the one that was better placed after the dressage. Sandro Star was in 21st position. His stallion will come a little bit later. That was the horse that took the big Devon Arena, Pennsylvania showdown.
Yeah, so a disappointing round from Chris. When you have a horse that, you know, over what is becoming a relatively straightforward course, to have 4 down is very troublesome for him, and he'll be doing a lot of going back to the drawing board and finding out what he can do to change that in the future.
So 16 jumping faults, 5 additional time there, time of 81. So a total of 21 added for Chris and unmarked bills. He'll finish on 66.0. Here's number 7, Cornelia Dor and Louis Ems. Number 7, this rider had the lead for the first hour and a half this morning after a wonderful dressage ride.
So Chris Talley completing the first of his rides is home. Not, of course, home and dry, sadly, but it's 4 down for the young American. 5 time as well. 76 seconds is proving quite hard to get, despite Georgie Spence coasting home with Halltown Harley 4 seconds under. 21 to add for Chris Talley. His completion score after jumping is 67. But now, one of our 20-year-olds, she did lead the dressage earlier in the class. She now starts in 9th position. This the former Pia Munker ride from Germany. As we said before, the horse that won Pia the Young Rider European individual gold in Sweden in 2012. Louis M is on course. This the phase traditionally, Karen, he struggles with. But this lady's improving him actually in the jumping, looking at his new record.
Now she's just had one down again. The horse didn't appear to be enough in front of the leg. And there she's leaving him open, and he just gets belly low and loses his shape. Just needs to have a much rounder shape all the way across the ground so that it becomes his way to do it. Coming up with the wither and not getting belly low and just lowering his body to the jump.
So Cornelia tracks down over the Adequan, our title sponsors, the presenting sponsors of this FEI Nations Cup.
Just leaves him so empty on that. The pace is, she's under the competition pace.
But this is the horse's problem, Karen. He's known for this, I'm afraid. I know that there's things we can highlight in, maybe her approach, but this is his record, sadly.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always leading the dressage, cross-country machine, but he was so ahead in the old days before the coefficient was changed that he could
Coefficient is really
put the cosh on him a little
the
bit.
gosh, yeah. The gabosh. Yeah, it's disappointing.
So we have 28 jumping faults.
28, so 7 down.
Total of 29, unfortunately, there for Cornelia and Louis M.
There's 28 jumping. One time for Cornelia Dawes, sadly. As we say, it's a bit of a highlight of the past for this horse. 29 to add. 62 is the score. Boy, oh boy, some disappointment in the show jumping for the 20-year-old, but I'm afraid that's half the course for Louis M. Tracy Binnerman is on course. Gets underway this, one of the back markers after the dressage. Gioni starting on 47.2. That white plank against the sand, Karen, I just hope they can visualise that. It was wobbling in the cups, but it stayed still.
It was wobbling indeed. Sometimes you get away with it and sometimes it comes down, but so far she's having a good round. Wow, that was unlucky. Almost as if he saw the oxer and forgot to finish the jump behind.
Just turning down now into the final line. The Great Meadow International is another, I'm afraid, pair of blips for Gioni.
Yeah, it's you know, when you come down to the last line, he looked like he was a little lacking in power. Didn't kick his hind end up so much over the triple bar, and then he just struggled at the two verticals to finish out with having both of them down. Disappointing, but it is a cross-country competition tomorrow.
We'll just wait for the score to come through to be confirmed for Gioni. Tracy Binnerman completing. 47.2 was their dressage.
$16 jumping and 2 additional time there for Tracy and
So,
18
16
added
jumping
for Tracy
and
and
2 time,
Gioni.
18 to add.
Finishing on 65.2.
Final score is going to be
Next to jump, Chelsea Coleman,
65.2
Dauntless Courage. This is number 9.
after the show jumping phase to lead out onto Cross Country Day tomorrow, Sunday. The big Mike Etherington Smith Cross Country lies awaiting for our combinations. But now we go to Chelsea Coleman.
Nice jumping horse.
And an 18-hander. He's a G unit, Karen. We welcome Dauntless Courage. He starts on 44.6, another one like Gioni. A little bit down the pack, he starts in 42nd.
He looks to be very careful so far on this course. Had a little bit of a rub there at the Oxer. The line to that Oxer is just very close to the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron obviously is active. Can really spook a horse. Now bending line to the reverse Liverpool. So far so good.
And just to highlight that is because the water trays a little bit on the landing side. So the problem there, the horse's eye line drawn into the base of it, bit of a false crown line.
Correct. But the sun is setting, and so all of the shadow is behind the vertical, so it seems to be going quite good. We're going to look for a fist pump here.
That is a super round for 23-year-old Chelsea Coleman.
Nice.
She's only been eventing since 2015, Karen. 7 international starts is meagre.
Remarkable.
With this horse. That's a super clear round jumping.
Now, what did she do before eventing? You said 3 years of eventing.
Yeah, this horse was a police horse.
That's
quite
right.
incredible.
That's right.
So a former police horse, he's turned his trade to eventing. He's only been eventing since 2015. He's got 7 international starts. And what a competition is shaping up for Chelsea Coleman. Great clear in the jumping. Their debut was 3rd at Poplar Place. They then went to Tryon for the test events, completed all the way through. Really super, and I'm delighted for Chelsea.
You're right, she had a great round. Very happy for her, but the horse is a super careful jumper, and he's found his niche here, and better event horse than a police horse.
Savannah Fulton is on course. Now this pair sadly were our back markers after dressage. 48.8 is 20.5 penalties exactly. Behind our leader Kim Severson. Cooley Cross Border was the star of the morning, early morning dressage it was, on 28.3.
Yeah, that went down, the flag went up on the flag bearer there. That is because you can't see behind that jump from our point of view or from the judge's point of view, so they have to have a flag that comes up.
Well, Karen, I'll give you a moment to enjoy the delivery to the commentary position. Petrosian Caviar has just rocked up, so that is amazing. Quite superb.
I will definitely take them up on this.
I'll do the result. You enjoy the Caviar. One of Jackie Mars's favourites, I hear.
Yes, she's a very good client of Caviar, and
it's lucky there's a slight time delay on the scoring, so we can enjoy our Caviar for a moment.
We have some now as well.
Petrosian, thank you very much. 8 jumping, but inside the time. Captain Jack will add 8. And 56.8 is the completion score.
You're missing out, Ed. This is delicious.
Going to pop it in here a second. Thank you very much.
And here we have Will Fawdry on his Celeste.
The World Games and Pan American Games for Team USA. 17th place here this weekend, 34.6.
On course now, yes. Will Fawdry, 2 rides this evening. It's the first of them. Celeste gets underway for the Gavilan farm-based Will.
He started out with a super rhythm. And she's having a superb course so far. She really tries.
As she did in the dressage this morning, 34.6, 17th position, but only 6.3 penalties in touch. Kim Severson.
Very good there. Will's riding in a good balance and riding nice and forward.
This mare, the daughter of Contender. So we're not surprised here by the Beautiful performance here from Will Fordry.
That's a shame.
That was unlucky on the home trip.
That was unlucky as well. It really
very
was.
close, just one down there at the very end.
But
Oh, he'll be
Celeste
disappointed.
completing. It's a good round, Karen. I mean, these
Yes.
things you can't really cater for. They're just kind of, they happen occasionally.
Yes, absolutely. But you can't help but be disappointed because Will's not. He's in it to win it. He's not here just for the beer.
So 4 jumping, and we hear that also 1 time for Will Fordry. So 5 is the total score in the show jumping. For Celeste, the mare just completing. Well, we have a muddle of our team horses and the individuals. We'll, of course, focus very strongly on the team as they come in, as they do right now, because Canada's 20-year-old Shelby Brust comes forward. This a lovely mare, Crimson. We loved this test earlier. The judges were a little bit more technically orientated, perhaps, because Shelby starting on 35.5 in 24th position. But well, the test from our point of view was really quite lovely.
It was beautiful, and I love these typey little thoroughbred mares. Oh, she's a clever little thing, isn't she? She's really gives it their all. You know, they say if you have a good mare, then they're 1 in a million. Yeah, they're really super. Look at how she wraps around that plank. That plank is just sitting on air.
Yes, and no more so than Lucinda Fredericks' Headley Britannia, winner of Burley, Badminton and Kentucky. Brits, quite sensational mare. Crimson is cruising here down this straight line. Liverpool 2. Adequan, our presenting
Lovely.
sponsors, Oxa. Boom Shack Attack over that. No messing around.
Boom Shack Attack.
Yes.
Okay.
Ali G's in the house. Travels down to the Great Meadow International double. Clatters in, Karen, but that's
Let's
a
see
super
the fist
clear
bump.
round. She's waiting for the time. Maybe she's not bothered. I wouldn't bother.
Shelby and Crimson, and then they finish right on 76, and that's a very good score there. 35-5 as they go forward to the cross country tomorrow, and that will give Canada
Inside the time, because
No fist bump.
35.5. No, I would be also in the mode, Karen. She's not party pooping. She's focusing on Tokyo 2020, which we said earlier is very much Shelby Brust's aim. And a great clear in the jumping. And that, of course, is a team ride for Canada. Canada in 3rd position after the dressage. Keeps them yapping on the USA's heels. But now, Britain's team rider comes in. Sophie Brown heads down to this exotic bird flanked oxer. This is Will. We said earlier, he's got a very good jump record.
He really uses himself well.
34.4 is the start score here. Individually tied in 13th position with Clayton Fredericks and Lynn Szymanski. She's in good company.
Oh, he's careful, isn't he?
Jumped 9 clears from 15 international completions, which is impressive. And this is going to be another one here. You fancy? Come on, Sophie Brown, to keep Britain in pole position.
Excellent.
Good round that is.
Excellent. Now
There.
she's got a good fist pump.
It's more of a sort of royal handshake from Her Majesty than a fist pump.
Of course it is.
I think she's remembered Queen Elizabeth in the moment.
And a time of 75, Sophie Brown and
Just
Will,
inside as
the
well.
second double clear for
Literally a
Great
second
Britain.
inside.
And that fist bump's going to be a 7.6.
Oh, they're rating the fist bumps as 7.6 for the Royal Way.
I don't know.
In the lead at the
That's
moment
what
for
we
the
heard.
fist bump
A
for the first
7.6.
clear round for Great Britain earlier.
It's a regal 7.6, crikey.
I'd say so.
For the United States, second rider for Team USA.
So Sophie
here's
completing
Caroline
on
Martin.
34.4.
This is number 14.
Back-to-back clears for the young Canadian. And now the the first out for the British team, also keeps Britain
This pair finishes at
the
Landover,
lead
Kentucky back in the spring.
after
Fifth at
the
the fourth,
first rider rotation.
and ninth at Red Hills. Caroline's at 26th place individually, 35.8, riding for the Nations Cup, Team USA.
Caroline Martin is the last of this second rider rotation. Spring easy. Tracks down to this fan quadruple spread fence it is. I saw Caroline about 6-7 years ago doing a bareback puissance at Plantation Field. Oh, it was some wall she came down. I think it was a 5-year-old horse. It was ridiculous.
That was good though.
Bareback as well.
Highly
Bareback,
entertaining.
I think, yeah.
Wasn't that the year Jenny Brannigan won it?
Yeah.
At
it was a
about
bareback
6'3" or something
It was
ridiculous.
She was 16. It was extraordinary. So this is sort of, yeah, tame for her.
Well, she's having a super round so far. Let's not jinx her. Coming down now to the last line, making the turn to the triple bar. It's 4 not very long strides to the oxer in and 2 strides vertical out. And whoa!
And it's still up. Still up
Living
again.
dangerously, but gets it done.
Yes, got out of jail, but for the home nation, we don't begrudge her a fraction.
So 2 time faults, unfortunately.
Ah,
Caroline.
2
Two
time faults, and that
times.
could be very costly to the team score.
On 37.8.
So time to add for Caroline Martin.
Our next group of riders will be brought to you by Practical Horsemen for 40 years.
37.8 is the completion score for Caroline and Mum Sherry Martin. Spring easy, the 12-year-old completing. But yes, as we say, could be a costly 2, we will see, because there's not a lot of breathing space between
States Eventing Association.
certainly Canada and the USA in the team standings.
Landmarks Monte Carlo riding for
Just to remind you, the USA were on 103 after dressage, 108.9 the Canadian tally. Britain on 97.7 with a little bit of space. But yeah, with rails falling and time influential, Karen, it could all shake up very conceivably.
Very true. But here we have Lauren Kiefer starting on this is Jacqueline Mars Landmarks Monte Carlo.
Their winners at the Fork in the intermediate level, 11th at Red Hills, finishers at Kentucky.
And this horse is usually a very good show jumper.
And Lauren looks to me as though she set out with the time on her mind. She really accelerated out of the second vertical.
She has a lot of confidence in this horse's jumping phases. He's careful enough. He makes a good shape over the jump so she can get across the arena without risking the change of the horse's frame. Oh, she just has the A element down, the vertical. Looks like he just dropped a little bit behind her there.
So Lauren Kiefer comes down to this late double to cross the finish line.
Good round, a little bit unlucky at the first element of the triple combination.
So 1 down in a time of
At
7.5 for Lauren, Landmarks Monte Carlo.
But that's interesting because, again, only 1 second inside the time, and she clearly had time on her mind. So that's going to be a feature, I think, as we go on.
But I don't think that Patrick's a particularly fast horse in the show jumping. She has to always think about that. So that makes me say that if she can get Patrick inside the time, then everybody
Time's doable on a
not just
normal
doable, but the other
quick
riders
Should
should get it done.
Okay.
Second at Bromont in Canada.
So 4 to add there
Past member of the United States
for
Equestrian
Lauren
team.
Kiefer, and her final score after show jumping is
15th place individually,
39.4.
34.5.
Well, super.
He's also won
Early
the
evening
rocking
here.
horseback
5:30.
back in
We started at
February.
7:30 this morning, so I think we're well entitled to call it the early evening.
That's right. We did start at 7 o'clock this morning. Early dressage.
But now we welcome the world ranked number 6. She's literally within a whisker of Mikael Jung, which is an incredible thing to have as a rider, to say you're just behind the best we've ever seen in the sport, Lynn Szymanski. And this horse, as we said earlier, he's had a number of pilots, or she's had a number of pilots. Is Marianne Gadaban's Under Suspension, the horse of Dirk Schrader, first produced in Germany. This pair starting on 34.5. They do lie in a tie 15th position with Alex Knowles and the young Moores Wood. That lovely chestnut we'll see later. Good, strong start here.
Pippi's a nice big scopy mare. Lynn gets along with her great. She's had a few other riders in her career. Besides Dirk, she's had Sharon White and Hannah Burnett, both successful with her. And Lynn's just jumped a great round. Presses her across the timers, and we're looking for a fist punch.
And right on the money of
There you go.
76 there for Lynn, and Under Suspension. Well done.
I don't know why they aren't doing the fist
on
pump.
34.5.
Yeah, super round. And bang on the
here's
time,
the
and it's a
fist bump.
delayed
There we
fist
go.
pump.
All right.
That slow burner, Karen,
The
of a
slow
fist pump.
burner.
Emily Bashir next. Olney's Uncle
She's
Sam.
bang on the
This is
time
number
as well, so that
17.
is a shade lucky,
That's-
whatever,
or
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 perfectly
precise
measured.
judgment. Exactly.
There's some regular riders on the weekend tours.
And now we look at the position at the moment. As you see, one penalty only separates Will Coleman. He's jumped only one of his 3, but he leads Sophie Brown with Will for Great Britain.
Out of Somerset, Virginia.
34.4, and then, wow, 0.1 behind is Lynn Szymanski, just completed.
Jersey
On
Fresh.
top 3. Early days yet in this second phase at the Brook Ledge Great Meadow International. Things are going to get interesting for sure as we progress. And that final combination, it's either tumbling to be a bit of a graveyard of clear rounds, Karen, or it's being rattled and
Yeah,
shook in the cups.
it's definitely moving around. I mean, I hope somebody's out there checking to make sure that it's staying exactly where it started.
Emily Bashir comes forward. This is only Uncle Sam, the 9-year-old on course. Their dressage was 36.1, left them in 28th position. Down to this water tray vertical with the lengthening early evening shadow. But he's got a conscience, this horse, to my
She
eye.
swung really wide to this, and I hope it won't cause her time faults in the end.
He's got a nice technique, this horse. He
He
really
does.
does.
Yeah, super technique. But she's gone as far out as anyone, so we'll see what the time is. in that
This will
tournament.
be fascinating, as you say. I think
0-0,
over.
double clear there, right on the mark.
No.
there.
Right
Emily
on the
and
mark.
Olney's Uncle Sam.
And she kept a
There
good
is
rhythm coming
full
forward,
round.
so she's
She'll finish now on
it's worked for her.
36.1.
Yeah, well done to Emily Bashir. The double clears now starting to come like the London buses, thick
Number
and
18,
fast.
Yes.
We've waited a long time for one.
Yeah.
They come 3 or more on the trot typically. On a soggy day in the British capital. Only Uncle Sam completing with Emily Bashir on a final score after phase 2 of 36.1.
Climactic owned by Laura Welsh. On dead ridden. Currently 44th place on 46.5. Third at the Horse Park in New Jersey Horse Trials. Last season, 7th at Chat Hills, and 4th at Texas Rose.
Well, our new starter, Laura Welsh, I'm afraid, Galactic. The oldest horse in the field at 19 years of age, grinds into the tally-ho oxer at 2. But this horse, remarkably, we mentioned earlier, he's only been competing since he was 17.
That's really remarkable, isn't it? That he started at 17 and he's What age is he now?
19.
19.
He's the oldest horse in the field, but he started at 17. I mean, it's quite an incredible story.
The oldest horse to start eventing.
Exactly.
Well, the jump crew is just getting the jump placed. They'll hear another buzzer, and then she can come ahead. She gets 4 faults added to her score, plus extra time.
Yeah, they had 6 seconds, the grand jury. Christian Landolt from Switzerland, Joe Young from Canada in the hot seats.
Down that one goes at 3.
Bumps off our title sponsors. The Brook Ledge Horse Transportation's vertical at 3, Sadie. So it's sadly a dicey start for the old boy.
Oh dear. He's trying. She's just lacking that
Bit of forward energy to my eye.
forward, but not running at it.
Just needs to flow on a little bit more.
Just needs to have better decision making.
But this
Twist.
horse, sorry.
Yeah, a twist. Now she's getting a little bit excited on us.
She wants to get onto the cross country tomorrow.
I think you must be right, because she is flying like Seabiscuit.
They have had 4 top 10 finishes from 7 runs, so they are actually pretty accomplished despite this horse's late start in eventing. And they're going cross country tomorrow. Dicey start, Karen, but things certainly improved, thankfully.
They did improve indeed. So she'll be glad to get out on that cross country course, and I can't wait to see this horse run and jump.
No, me too. It's going to be an incredible early Sunday morning story to watch the 19-year-old Galactic tackling Mike Etherington Smith's fascinating 3-star course here at the Brook Ledge Great Meadow International.
So 11 over after that too, so a total of 39. Laura Galactic.
So 39 it is to add, and that means it's going to be a final score of 85.5 after jumping for Laura Welsh with that. Yeah, really, what was a bit of a nightmare start for her, and you can only feel, Karen, I mean, you know, big occasion this afternoon, and yeah, her heart must have been a little bit in her boots there.
Yeah, I feel sorry for her, you know, but this is a journey. And that's a tall order for a horse that's only been competing for 2 years in this atmosphere under this kind of pressure.
I absolutely agree. It's a tall order, and we're delighted to have them here, and we're impressed regardless. But now the horse we absolutely loved this morning. Alison Springer sets off aboard Lord Willing. Her dressage 29.8. This is the first of the contention horses. She lies in 5th position, and she's only 1.5 behind Kim Severson's leading score of 28.3. So look out here, because a clear here, Karen, would really
put the pressure
crank
on.
the pressure up.
It's a lovely little horse. All the owners are here watching tonight, and super excited in the Springer camp about his result from the dressage. And he's looking superb on the cross, on the show jumping. And triple combination, lovely technique.
And Karen, he's a double Z.
Double Z.
Lord Z, Coriano Z on either side. Julian Melchior, Zangaseda, base in Belgium. He jumped 6 out of 9 clear rounds in his international starts, and this is going to be another one. Absolutely sure. Little rattle, they survive. That was really good.
She's going to give it a fist punt. Very good. Classy, classy round. No time faults, I'm sure. I hope. Fingers are crossed. It looked quick enough.
Yeah, Alison Springer knows she sat on a superstar. Not only a clear round machine, but as we said before, 66% blood, Lord Z, his father, and 60% blood on the dam sire side, so he'll gallop tomorrow for fun as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Super round, that is really influential for the individual competition. 29.8 is our leader in the clubhouse
Pennsylvania.
here in Virginia.
Individually now for Canada, he's in 8th place.
Wayler Roberts is on course. Gave the first a good clap to the Taylor Harris Insurance Services vertical. It stays. He shaves a tight turn there. Lancaster got out of jail for the second time at that fan fence at 4. He starts again. Poised after dressage. 31.3. He's within biting distance of Kim Severson. 3 back only.
Good at the A, B, and just has the front rail at the C. It looks like the horse is jumping slightly to the left. Have to keep the horse very straight through the air.
And that's something as a rider, sort of on the approach, you've just got to funnel them, haven't you, into the middle of the jump and put your leg on. And
Well, exactly. See if he can keep the last fence up. And he does this time. 1 down, I think.
yes, just awaiting confirmation.
Jumping time of 77 for Whalen and Lancaster. So
Just the one rail down out of the triple combination. The United States Equestrian Federation's Oxa front bar tumbles.
Here's number 21, Alexander Knowles. Holly with her second ride. This is Sound Prospect, number 21.
But there you see the position. Alison Springer has opened up a commanding individual lead because she's out in front of Will Coleman by 3.6.
At the moment.
At the moment, she's got 4 more to weather. Ben Hobday, Jesse Felix, Felix Vogue, Kim Severson in charge to go out onto cross country tomorrow to try and gun down the 3rd edition of the Great Meadow International. But this pair have set off like scalded cats. We welcome
Allie Knowles.
Sound Prospect. Swings back to this.
That's riding very well, the plank.
It is.
It's on such flat cups, but it's been staying up so far. She gets across to the triple combination.
And the horse is not bothering on seeing, you know, the white plank on the sand surface. So no sort of visual issue at all, which could be a factor.
You know, when you walk it, they're not really, the sand isn't covering it behind. It's more the crowds and the grass that's on the hill.
So they can pick it out.
They are seeing it.
This horse is jumping beautifully.
It is indeed.
Sails out over the Adequan. Oxa.
Whoa, she's coming
She's
in hot.
seen a flyer. She's coming in hot. Whoa, brilliant.
And the horse gets itself out
That
of
was
trouble.
awesome, Karen.
Very good.
We saw her here, turn to 11. She's on a forward distance.
She saw a steeplechase distance.
She's living the cross country a day early.
I agree. Never bring the cross country ride to the show jumping.
There's 22.
Super round for Ali Knowles.
Missed
She's
the fist punt.
inside the time.
Tight lines, the national two-star champion.
She will stop the score ticking with Sound Prospect on 34.8. And that was a cracker. But now we go to the horse who jumps a super double clear. Kentucky this year. Will Coleman comes in. This is his pure sang-bred tight lines. Full French thoroughbred.
A little bit of a tough morning this morning when the horse got his tongue over the bit, didn't he? And caused to be such a moment.
Yeah, back end of his test was a really frustrating moment, as you exactly say. Will Coleman. He's cutting tight lines here for sure. That time will not be an issue.
Horse gets a little bit unsteady in his mouth, tricky mouth. Will is a very elastic rider, but this horse is just a little tricky.
And I'm guessing that's an issue when, you know, he pops the tongue the wrong way. It's because he's fiddling around already in the dressage.
Exactly like that. really changed the ride for Will just in front of that triple bar when he threw his head up in the air, almost like he is getting a pinch or he is getting some sort of discomfort from the bit.
And there's a double
But it's
clear
a
for Will
second
Coleman.
rotational
Top
fist
line.
pump for
Well
Will
done for Will.
Coleman. 2 double clears here.
That will give him
Brookledge Great Meadow International.
37.2.
The Conair Syndicate's tight lines adds nothing around Mark Donovan's show jumping course.
7.7.
Tight lines, of course. As we say, his dressage start was super. Frustration late on. So he started on 37.2 after a very good start in his test. But Will Coleman will go out onto cross country on 37.2 at the close of Saturday. There's the position. As you see, Will with his first horse.
Middleburg, Virginia.
33.4 with Supercon de Brunei is in second.
Lindsay down 39th place on 41.0.
Now we have Cooley Cruise Control with Lindsay Kelly, owned by the Cooley Cruise Control Syndicate. She's coming around to the third. Has had a nice start.
We've got a clutch of 8-year-olds here in Virginia, but this one of our 9-year-olds, Irish sport horse, son of Chacoa, son of Contender. So we're optimistic for his show jumping. That was good through the triple.
Very good through the triple. Yeah, I liked it. Keeps a good balance up against the front face of the jump. And she's picking up the pace a little bit. Again, another one swinging quite wide.
She's going to see the sound prospect approaching the final line. Not quite as bold, but still fairly positive as you got to be down
And a
there.
beautiful clear.
Really good.
Super.
All right.
Super good.
Through the finish.
Super.
So well done
Right
to
on 76 seconds.
Cooley Cruise Control, and he's bang on the time again.
Double
Do we have
clear.
a fist bump? Do we have a
Super
fist
stuff
bump?
there.
It is. All right. Lindsay and Cooley Cruise Control.
So Cooley Cruise Control, they were a little bit down the order. 41 was their dress sergeant. 39th position, but that's an immaculate show jumping clear. And of course, a show jump clear, Karen, will make up for any frustration from the morning's dressage.
Well, you have a short memory on that.
Wrapped up here.
You know, you forget pretty quickly once you've had a good show jumping around like that,
14th
so
at
she'll be
Rocking
thrilled.
Horse, 5th at Ocala, 3rd in the intermediate at the AEC Championships last year down at Tryon. Charlotte now on 36.8. She's in 31st place individually.
This is the last before our
Number
show
24
jumping
on course. Last to go
halfway
before
interval.
mid-class break.
Well, this course started off looking fairly demanding, both in terms of time and jumping, but latterly we're seeing some brilliant double clears coming thick and fast, as now Charlotte Collier to anchor the first
Yeah,
half.
Charlotte is having her first FEI at the 3-star. Very exciting weekend for she and her family. Her parents are both here in attendance. She had a little bit of a lucky one there at the second where she was off of it on the distance. You have to decide early and then get on with your job. Keep the horse straight and in front of you and balanced. It's a very careful horse for her, a very kind individual.
And Karen, a big afternoon, because only 4 starts ever internationally previously at any level. So this is some arena for her.
Of FEI starts, yeah.
Yeah, national starts.
Many national starts. She's come up in many ways through our national program. The horse is really going well for her. She's got one line to go to jump her clear in her first CIC 3-star.
Come on, Charlotte Collier.
Come on, Charlotte.
22
Collier.
years of age.
Collier.
Collier. Come on, Charlotte Collier. Ooh, yo, how did she escape? She does.
Oh my
boy,
gosh.
oh boy.
Wow.
That is a superb
What a horse.
escape.
What a horse. I don't know. Whatever you're feeding it, keep feeding it that way, because that is a very special horse in her life.
Unreal.
Unfortunately, she's just a little bit over
Yes,
the top
okay.
there.
Couple time faults.
79.9, that gets rounded up to 80. So no jumping, but 4 time penalties.
4 time faults.
4 time, but
I would take that to the bank.
exactly.
Oh my goodness.
The whole shine at 12 years of age,
So right now we
produced
have
by
a
Peter
20-minute break
Thompson,
before you all take
gets
a stretch.
out
You
of
all having a good
a
time?
wicked
Come on,
deep
let's hear
spot
it,
into the
everybody.
final
Having a good
combination.
time.
That horse had more moves than Allied Van Lines. That's all I gotta say.
So 4
You don't
times
even
it
know what I
had.
mean by
I
that.
don't, but I have an imagination ticking a little bit.
Allied Van Lines, big trucking company, and that's their logo is they have the moves.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what an exciting closure to the first half of the jumping. There you see the position leading into our halfway break. Alison Springer looks immaculate with Lord Willing, 29.8. To head up, Will Coleman by 3.6. We're with one more to come. So that is Subcon de Brunet in second. Sophie Brown with a lovely team horse, Will for Great Britain, 34.4. And Lynn Szymanski-Karen look very good with Under Suspension. Fourth at the moment on 34.5. They're only, within 5 penalties. So, of course, if the time is gettable tomorrow, it's not quite such a close feeling at the end of the first half of the show jumping. But a fascinating opening session.
I think the course is riding very well, it's riding very, very well. And I think that it's got a good rhythm. It's a great course for exactly what it is. We have some good 8-year-olds, we have some 9-year-olds, and then we have our very seasoned horses like a Tight Lines horse that's shortlisted for the games, or for the World Equestrian Games, or some of these other horses. So Mark's had a tough job. He has had to do the full range of green at the level and seasoned at the level, and he's coming up with a good result.
But this final line is fascinating because it's had some dispatches, it's had a lot of rattles that have stayed put in the cups. We've seen, Ali Knowles was just on a pure cross-country distance into the whole line, rode like a treble tomorrow, and it came off. So you don't necessarily need to respect it, but you've got to certainly commit to it, or have Clifford M underneath you.
Yeah, and Charlotte, my goodness, she's very young at the level, and she kept the horse straight and she kept it coming forward, and it is exactly what the horse is supposed to be, which is her unicorn. And exciting for all of these young horses to keep getting around, the course easily.
Well, Karen, thank you very much for the first half of your commentary, and certainly as we go into the second half with the decisive part of the fourth leg of the FEI Eventing Nations Cup Series. It's an interesting show jumping course for sure, and we'll be back on air in just under 20 minutes. The next horse is in at 6:10. We'll join you just before for another one for Caroline Martin for the USA. Thanks for watching so far. We'll see you for the second half.
My name is Alison Springer. I'm riding Lord Willing, who we lovingly call Liam in the barn. This is my first year competing at Great Meadow International. I'm based out of the Plains, Virginia. I've been in the Virginia area since 2003. Virginia is a very special place for horses, and I think I'm most looking forward to this weekend being able to compete in front of my friends and neighbors and family that are here in Virginia. This is a special event for everyone, and the community really came together to make this competition possible. So it's nice to be able to compete in front of them and hear them cheer us on. Lord Willing is new to the level this year. He's still green at the 3-star level, so this is going to be a very exciting competition for him. I consider him a big star for the future. So this venue, the atmosphere, and the ability to compete against the best in the world is very exciting for me. When I'm on cross country with Lord Willing, I'm thinking about producing this horse for the future, giving him the best confidence building run possible. He's enormously talented. As I said before, he's very careful. So he's a bit spooky, and he has in the past gotten pretty starstruck by all the crowds. So I think this will be a great competition for him to get some mileage and put his big boy pants on. Good luck to all the competitors this weekend, especially those who traveled from afar. Really hope for a great, successful, safe weekend for everyone, and looking forward to this competition.